Okay. Alrighty then. So, the next session of Puppetmasters of the Jyhad. We have Bacon coming in with a new character and Luca coming in with a new guest character. So, this was... I think we ended what was happening in the meeting there. In the Toreador. Elysium. After Sad was shot the fuck up. Did we switch the night over after that?
We did. Then you did that roll and someone botched their thing.
Yeah, we'll get to
And
that
we
in
had
a
to do there.
second. So, the two of you, namely the two new characters, would arrive in the unofficial Elysium about 15 minutes apart or so. You would have been... the information you would have gotten would essentially indicate that, you know, if you arrive at about this time, you might hear something that is of interest to you and we could arrange some things, etc, etc, etc. So, did we determine if Kurt was busy at the start of that next night?
Kurt, I don't think we actually found if anybody was particular.
Okay, then we're gonna say that he's here.
We know that Kurt is trying to rest because he got a lot of agate at one point, but
Kurt is
Not
certainly
Kurt.
trying to rest, yes.
Oh,
But he would be here.
I can heal at the point of ag, right?
You? Have you done anything exceptionally stressful? I don't... Yeah, go ahead. It's fine.
actually, I think I had one as well. Was there anything I did yesterday stressful, particularly?
Yeah, no, go ahead and heal if you have the blood for it.
All right, I do.
Okay, you may both place yourselves there. When you arrive at the top floor, the main room seems to have police tape around it, and there seems to be a couple of people who you think might be kindred talking to a pair of mortals, in this case police officers. Who can I use for police? Just gonna use the marine guys as a placeholder for now, since hopefully no one's gonna try and shoot the police.
Damn it.
It's up to you if you want to arrive more or less together, if you want to talk on the way up, or if you want to roll off to see who gets there first. Luca, Bacon?
I think that talking on the way up would be interesting.
Okay.
I'm fine with that.
Then you meet in the lobby of what is kind of like an upscale apartment building. Apparently the meeting place is on the top floor.
Would I realize that the other guy here is also a kindred?
If you have aspects running either for heightened senses or aura sight, definitely. If not, you would still probably be able to tell.
So I would just go to him. Oh, a pleasure to meet you. I'm Milford Dyson. Are you from the city?
I'm not even from this part of the world, actually. I just recently arrived from France.
Oh, also from the old world then. I
So
came
it would
here
seem.
20 years ago. Lost some trade on the war. Decided to move on.
Well,
Also, Also
I just
for
upped his thing all the way.
the meeting.
I am. My name is Konstantin, by the way, and I'd offer you my hand, and I'd say it's a pleasure to meet you.
Take hand with him. So,
Okay, so both of you have introduced yourselves, and both of you have, I assume, some politics. As Bacon, they decide to ignore that. You, Luca, can roll intelligence politics at 8. Bacon, you can roll it at 9. Determined by your statuses, essentially. You might have heard things about each other.
Difficulty 8.
Yes.
would say that my intelligence would specialty would not apply.
What is your intelligence specialty?
Book knowledge.
Not on this, no.
Yeah.
And yours for intelligence, if you have one, you don't have one. Okay, so, Luca, you would know more about him than he does about you, obviously. Apparently, he is very much a Ventru, a high, upstanding citizen in his own way. Of the newer class of Ventru, though, more of an industrialist than a noble, and apparently he is really disliked by the Tremere for some reason. You're not entirely sure on the details, but he has angered them in some way.
Alright.
As for you, Bacon, you have heard about him. Apparently he hails from Russia. Probably escaped from there as a result of the revolution, and he is apparently mildly competent. You know, like a proven ancilla, you would guess. But you don't know much beyond that.
Oh. At least there will be some competent Ventru in the city. I hope.
Are you
Yeah,
saying
then
that to me?
Talking
No,
to
or
you.
you just-
Out
okay.
of character. But yeah, I suppose, and we should go up.
I'll follow your lead.
There's an elevator, or we go, or only stairs on the building.
You... I think there would be an elevator, but yeah, you can easily take the elevator. I think pretty much everything here would be reasonably stylish, at least as much as you can expect in the new world. Andrew probably picked the best building he could find within his price range for this.
If as we would go to approach the elevator, Bacon, Konstantin would kind of say, "Do you mind if we take the stairs?"
No, sure. Let's go to the stairs then.
All right. I'm not, and I'll head that way.
Okay. So, you travel upwards along the stairs. Up there you find two apparently kindred and two police officers discussing among themselves.
I have all specs active. Can I hear what they are talking about?
Yes, the police officers are talking, saying essentially, okay, fine, but the paperwork has been started. We have to write down something. And Kurt just responds with, don't worry, I'll square it with the captain. Just, for now, just give me a day. Let me call the captain, okay? We'll sort this out. Just chill, okay, guys? It's gonna be fine. And yeah, it's about a minute or two more of a conversation along those lines before the police officers finally decide to take it as they're not gonna win this one and leave.
Usually it's the other way around.
I mean, when Kurt knows which kindergarten your kid goes to and paid for the new playground possibly over there, you don't push too hard.
When the cops leave, I would approach the two kindred.
Okay. Sheriff Kurt just kind of looks up at you and says, who the fuck are the two of you?
I'm Milford Dyson. Just arrived in the city. I was called for a meeting here before.
And my name is Constantine. I just arrived from France and I'm here for the same reason.
Kurt just slowly turns and raises an eyebrow at Andrew. So let me get it straight. After what you pulled last night, you have two fuckers here without the prince's knowledge. Are we gonna have a fucking problem? And Andrew just responded, I'm gonna call Vivian right after this. It's fine. She's gonna know about this within the night. Okay, Kurt just raises a finger and looks him in the eye and says, you be careful. You don't want what happened to Walda happening to you, do you? I would hate to have to make another example. Andrew just slowly clenches and unclenches his fist and just says, well, thank you for visiting, Sheriff. I'm sure we'll have many more pleasant conversations in the future. Kurt at that point just kind of nods at the both of you, turns around, and stalks off. I think I need to add a moderate boon to the corridor towards the sheriff for helping clean up that shootout mess. Because, yeah.
Was a nightmare.
Do we even have a Bruja area? I don't think we do. They've just been staying out of it.
For what?
Do have Bruhari and
They have domain. If you meant like
I-
specific.
I mean in the boons handout.
No, they've stayed out of the boon so far.
Gentlemen, my apologies. We had an incident last night, and, well, I was not really in a position to cancel the event, and the cleanup, you know how it is. We had a mild problem with someone thinking they could stage a shootout in my house. It ended badly for them.
Can imagine.
Please, come in. One of your clanmates is already here. With a little luck, the other one will visit as well. And I think I'm gonna roll for Andrew trying to convince Andy to stay long enough to listen to what gets said here. I think that's a charisma leadership roll at an 8.
Sounds about right.
Okay. Yeah. Andy is gonna show up shortly afterwards as well. So you're led in. There are several mortals in the room and a number of kindred. And you can definitely see a couple of bullet holes. Also, it looks like the carpet is badly stained.
Lovely.
It's hard to remove ash from the carpet.
Yes, there really was no choice. The fucker just walked in and tried to pull a shotgun on more or less our entire clan gathered together. You can imagine the results.
Was he mentally unstable for doing such a stupid
Extremely,
thing?
yes. It's one of the things I intend to cover. I blame him for what happened to your predecessor. She wanted to use him as a disposable tool, and he ended up betraying her.
Well then, he meet his deserved end on.
Yes. Certainly, if you wish to partake, if either of you needs blood, I can provide. Provided your tastes will allow for what I have on offer. Otherwise, we can wait another few minutes, see if Andy shows up, and then we can start.
Should we roll for blood pool?
Yes. 1d10 plus 5, both of you. See how much you currently have in your system.
Chen can have 14.
15 for 8. 14 for 9.
I go to him. Would you have some particularly young woman?
Give me a charismatic roll on that one, because how you put it might upset the local sensibilities.
Okay. That's why I have etiquette.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Not right here, but I believe some of them might have lied about their age. I would have to call the agency and see if I have a lie. Excuse me, I'll make the call. It will take an hour or two to get here. He heads off. While he's gone, Andy slips into the room. Just doesn't really pay much attention to you beyond looking at you and then just proceeding to sit down on one of the sofas. Speculatively eyeing the ash stain on the carpet.
That we wait on the uncomfortable silence.
Uh-huh. And the silence continues. Andy is actually gonna speak up at before Andrew comes back, and he's gonna say, gentlemen, do you have any idea what this is about? And where the fuck is Andrew?
He went to make a call. He should be back on a moment, but we don't have much of an idea. We just arrived on the city.
Oh. Uh, Gentlemen, my personal recommendation, do what I'm doing. Leave, come back in a decade.
And why is that?
Well, they say that my sire is rampaging through the city, and apparently he went through some sort of ritual to corrupt him or drive him crazy. Also, the Malkavians just took over. And frankly, our clan was involved in the succession struggle, and I'm not sure just how accepting the Malkavians are gonna be of that. I intend to remove myself from the line of fire if they feel like settling scores.
I would suppose I'm more of the mind to wait and see what happens, but situation dependent, I will heed your words.
I think Andy has enough status that you can both roll at 9 to see if you know about him.
What would you like me to roll?
Intelligence politics, like before.
Difficulty 9.
Yes.
That's a botch. That's a double botch.
Alright.
God bless.
Okay. Apparently he is some moron who got captured by the Zimitsi and tortured recently.
Alright.
No one important.
Yeah, at that point, Andrew is gonna come back in. We go over to Andy, shake his hand, and say, I'm glad you came. Andy just looks at his watch. Half an hour. I have a flight to catch, okay? Andrew just nods and just gestures for the mortals in the room to get out. Finds a spot, sits down in an appropriately prominent position, his child hovering behind him, with a rifle lowered but in his hands. Gentlemen, as you might have heard from the news I put out, the Ventru clan ran into Malkavian-shaped problems recently. And frankly, I would like for your clan to have at least some sort of presence in the city because, well, in the current situation, I think we're natural allies. So I've tried to spread the news that there might be an opportunity for up-and-comers in this city and, well, here you are. So I can fill you in. Currently, there are probably, well, there's two people you need to take note of first of all. There are two elders who are essentially working together and running the city at the moment. Those would be Halfdan and Vivian. Vivian currently considers herself the prince, and Halfdan, well, officially he's the gangrel primogen, but he's very popular among the gangrel and the Malkavians, and those are the two most populous clans at the moment. So, given that they have reason to, at least from their point of view, dislike both our clans, you understand my motivation for bringing you here. Any information you need, I'll provide, and I'll happily help you settle in exchange for you, of course, working with me for common interests. Not gonna lie, the situation sucks, but there's opportunity for you in something like this, I think. And my motivations, of course, are obvious.
The city seems to be on a dire state.
Yes, the Prince talked to me recently. I believe I understood her message. It boils down to be a team player or else. So it's clear that our clans will not be forgiven such extra legal actions as the Malkavian Primogent herself took, I suspect on the prince's orders. But if we have a strong enough presence, we can work within the system, and I believe the prince will probably honor this since her reputation does reside on being a team player and trying to resolve things peacefully. She cannot afford to openly move against us if we don't give her an excuse.
So I think we should try to cooperate with her.
I concur.
Also, you
I
should
think that's
know
easy.
that if Kurt has already called her, she's probably watching us by now as well. Vivian, by the way, if you want, from this point onwards, you are definitely listening to the conversation.
Well, cool.
Can I just roll my intelligence account to realize what's going on?
How much occult do you have?
4?
Give me a roll at 8. You would probably know about the more common stuff like Auspex power since you were at some point in France. Yeah, you would know about the Auspex ability to look in on things from afar. So if she's a powerful elder and a Malkavian, that might be what she's doing. There's also rumors of Malkavians having other powers and ways of knowing things. But
That's something to keep in mind.
he would have, essentially he would have called you Epic and told you that there's 2 new vampires. Andrew promised he would call you right after. They're having some sort of a meeting. Be aware. Andy just kind of looks around and says, okay, I get what you're trying to do here, but I don't understand why that should motivate me to stay. It's still better, in my opinion, to try another city, at least for a few years until everyone calms down and the memory of what happened smooths over. Andrew just casually looks at him and says, well, it's rather simple, really. I want you to see that you don't have to leave and we can make our position stable and secure with little enough effort, and that we don't need to worry about further retribution if we play this right. And Andy just kind of responds with, right. And my Primogen along with her child didn't get car bombed just a couple nights ago. What do the two of you think, actually? Is he convincing you?
Uh, Not that much, but I went to the city knowing that I could profit from it.
My character my character's willing to kind of tough it out, seeing as that there is definitely an opportunity to seize power beyond how things presently stand.
Yes, play it out in character. Unless you are just staying silent and that is your internal monologue. Currently no one's reading your mind, so...
I think Constantine's gonna stay quiet for just a little bit longer and see what the others have to say.
Before to just say, we Ventro should try to at least be present. Let's not make them think that we are just a clan to be pushed around. We are strong members of the Camarilla and we should at least be represented on the city.
I have worked my ass off to maintain the clan's face in this city. I tried to stop the current situation from happening. I tried to be a good child to my sire, to follow his lead, and I trusted him to lead us to... I understand the idea, and I'm all for it. But this situation isn't exactly normal. I believe a far greater benefit to the clan's prestige would be to let things calm down without poking them more. We have, through our own fault or not, managed to end up in a situation where we look like we are just out of control thugs. The best thing we can do is let them forget that this shit ever happened and then start from scratch.
I think that it's a waste of an opportunity to leave and allow the other clans to continue to grow the power that they've managed to steal, when we could stay now and take advantage of the power vacuum to reassert ourselves and grow the prestige that we lost. I think you're missing out on an opportunity by leaving.
A power vacuum. Let's see. Let's tally up the deaths so far. Our Primogen, her child, Ayla Sombra, who was officially of our clan, and a prince who has been remade apparently into some kind of monstrosity and is currently being blood hunted. All for Ventru. That's the power vacuum you're talking about.
I understand the way that you see things, but I don't think that it's the end of the road for us right now.
And he just kind of pinches the bridge of his nose and... I never thought I would be in a situation where I would consider that our training as a clan might in any way be flawed. Oh no, if Andy becomes Anarch, that's the end of the road! They'll have a leader then!
God fucking bless.
Anarch Ventru. They're rare, but they exist.
I think
And-
Constantine is just going to smirk at him and say, there's really no reason to talk like that. A few bad apples doesn't spoil our training. Just because someone chooses to act like it, to act in unorthodox fashion and disregard the perfect training that we employ, doesn't mean that the training itself is to blame.
Now, to me it's clearly bullshit, and probably to everyone at the table, but give me a charisma expression roll at 7, cause that might work on Andy.
It really might. It makes a lot of sense.
It does.
Meanwhile, Milford is just thinking, Yup, it's definitely flawed. I agree with you.
Roll it, man.
Oh my
Nope.
god.
Nope. Nothing. There's was it difficulty 7?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't hear that for some reason.
I'm assuming yeah, never mind.
Of course, forgive me, this entire situation is deeply screwed up. He does not seem particularly sincere. That was an etiquette roll, by the way.
Oh boy.
I think Constantine's just gonna fall silent at that after I just nod in response.
Billy is actually gonna try and chime in. Gonna say, well, for what little my opinion is worth, I wholeheartedly agree with the idea that we should try to rebuild. Think I'm gonna give him a chance to try Nate after the fact at a higher difficulty? And he just gives him a look. Why don't you two tell us about yourselves? Where are you from? How old are you? What have you done?
I was born during the time of Imperial Russia, and sire was the Count Yolkov, Duke Sasha, and I spent a decent deal of time in Russia prior to the communist revolutions, before we fled to France, and I lost contact with my sire. For a time, I served in France, um, working for the Prince of Bordeaux. Uh, Relatively uninteresting, I suppose, save for a rather unsavory encounter with the Giovanni. I've been around for 60-something years now, and after I fulfilled the favor that was owed to the prince, I came here.
See. And
I'm
you?
Milford. I'm Milford Tyson, uh, English capitalist, uh, from around the times before the Industrial Revolution. I, I, out of character, I don't have a surname, so suppose that I say a generic name. I still don't thought about it yet. Was my sire and uh, worked with him for some 100-ish years, working on his finances, establishing his industry. But after a while, I decided to go on my own, went to Belgium, created my little industrial empire, but sadly the recent war destroyed most of my assets. So I went here, went to the United States to look for new opportunities.
I assume that when you recite your surnames, you recite your lineages as well.
Yep, um, I couldn't find the website without the lineages that I used before.
It's fine. I see. Well, I'm Andy Townsend. I have been a vampire for some 30 years. Previously, I served as the seneschal of this city, and he proceeds to recite his lineage. Apparently, he's a relatively low gen for the New World. If he is to be believed, he should be at an 8. Ian nods towards Billy. Billy, if you would. And Billy proceeds to essentially do the same, citing his lineage. And Billy, from what he says, is essentially a random neonate that's been caught up in this fuckery, about the same age and power level as Andy. And there's an awkward silence as everyone does the mental math to establish the pecking order.
Another mental math too. Oh, his sire's around. He's 7th gen. Milford just keep a watch on Constantine's face to see if there's any reaction when he realizes that.
Roll.
I would just. Sorry, what were you saying?
Go ahead. Describe what's going over your face.
A few seconds of disappointment followed by a few seconds of anger before Constantine tried to kind of force himself back to a sober appearance.
And when you realize there is a 7th gen around that is blood hunted.
You might notice that he kind of smirked a little bit. That was about it. Generally, it's a sober and disinterested appearance.
Andy casually looks at his watch again. I have about 10 minutes left before I need to leave.
Oh, then, how is the state of the former prince industry? I heard that he had a weapons factory. Very
Yes,
profitable.
that has been signed over to the new prince.
And does the new prince have any experience on administration?
Listen, you're a clanmate, so I'll give you this warning for free. Don't trust appearances with Vivian. And don't fuck with her. She'll know.
What is the state of the venture domain in the city?
I believe the prince's personal domain is gonna be claimed by the new prince. The chunk of the city that was assigned to us is officially still ours, so if you move in and stake your claim, show that there are in fact Ventru there, treating it as their own, I guess you have a good chance of keeping it.
Good. At least we have suitable territory from which to expand.
Well, Andrew speaks up. Is there anything else you need to know? Alternatively, if you need to discuss in private, there are more private settings that way. He points to one of the corridors.
Where is the Elysian of the city?
And he just smirks, says, "Oh, you'll love this. It's a Malkavian overrun park. Over in the, over northwest a ways.
A park.
It's dirty, but it's not as bad as it sounds, they're generally mildly civil there, if not as nice as this.
Constantine's just gonna sigh.
I suppose it's on the very present Gangrel territory that you said before.
Ah yes, the Gangrel do own a lot.
Any of the Gangrel that we should be wary of before the Primogen?
There's two, I think. There's Maxim, who maintains the Elysium, and there's Archie, who has at least two gold gators, possibly more.
About the Malkavians, if anyone special that I should be wary of besides the entire clan?
Walda, Byron, there's one that never shows his face but makes explosives apparently. There's one that does fortune readings, which she serves as one of the hounds. Apparently the sheriff thinks she is accurate with those. There's probably more you should watch out for. But those are the ones that come to mind.
So yeah, continue being wary of the entire clan. And of course.
Yes. Yes, you probably should.
Any other thing that we should be aware of the state of the city?
He looks at his watch again. The Bruja hold the sheriffdom. The prince is a Malkavian. And our clan is on the wrong side of the entire thing at the moment. I think that pretty much covers it, actually.
If we try enough, we can work with that.
It's certainly not the end of the road.
I want you to both roll Charisma Leadership at 8 for me. Since you have been pretty consistently pushing the same message.
Lol.
Nope.
Nice one.
Go away, Andy. I don't want you to die.
Fuck.
I think it evens out to no.
Luca, don't you have the voice thing that make charisma easier?
I did not take that. I
Oh.
didn't take that merit. The only charisma thing I have is the specialty for Urbane.
Okay. Andy stands up. Well, I need to leave about now if I'm gonna catch my plane. Vivian, who are you focused on as Andy walks out?
Particularly, I was actually focusing on the Toreador closest to the new guys so that I could get a good look of them.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. Let's see how much blood Andy might have in him. Okay, so a decent amount. Uh, okay, you kind of notice as Andy is leaving that he kind of makes an awkward gesture with his left hand as he goes out the door. Vivian, you notice this too.
An awkward gesture?
Kind of like a half wave behind his back that's might have been meant to be like subtle, so I don't know, maybe someone watching through clairvoyance would notice, but not the people in the room.
So Andy's giving a wave? Cool.
Yeah, he steps outside.
I'll switch over to Andy for a moment. See if he
Hey.
wants to.
He's speaking, so you saw what's going on in there, I assume. Any thoughts on it? I was gonna leave, but I'm wondering if you have any input on the current happenings. Probably just look like an
Send
idiot
over
talking to
Andy.
myself. Yeah, that's
No,
Andy.
I'm around. I'm around. I'm, well, unless something horrible seems to come up in their background, as far as I can tell, I'll just be bringing them into the city. I'm really hoping they'll be able to help out with making the Venture a pretty decent force again. I don't have any problems or anything, so.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna go back in there and offer my services. My sire really has become a rabid dog. It's my duty to help put him down.
Okay. As long as you, I just hope you get better.
He pokes his head back in through the door. Actually, now that I think about it, I might stick around for a few more days. He sits back down.
We are glad to have you, Andy.
Likewise.
And now the brutal fight, three-way fight for the primogenship begins. By the time it's done, there's one ventral left.
Oh shit. Andy, if Andy's going for that, he might even be more inspired due to last time I talked to him. He was born for this.
I should have took Lure of Flames for this situation.
I'm just gonna look up the willpower recovery for traditionalist because Andy might see this as his ways being vindicated and working out and might get some willpower back. Come on, load, you piece of shit. Okay, natures. Sadist, scientist, traditionalist. Regain a point of willpower anytime the proven ways turn out to be the best. Also, regain a point of willpower anytime you adhere to one of your previously espoused positions and it proves to be a wise course of action. Well, I think Andy would get at least 1 point here because he has always been trying to maintain the clan's pace. And here are a bunch of people who want to do exactly that, are apparently respected Ventru, unlike, you know, various fuck-ups, and want to rebuild the clan. And maybe he helped by holding the line for so long against such impossible odds, right? Either way, I'm gonna give him a single point back because otherwise he's mildly fucked. I'm gonna assume he has healed from the last time he had his ass kicked. Okay. So he happily sits down. Alright, gentlemen. We do have a question of leadership to decide. And Andrew, I believe we will take you up on one of those private rooms. Andrew just nods, not entirely happy with it, but accepting that this is the way it's gonna go. Alright, let me know if you need anything. We will discuss among ourselves. Provided you don't do anything crazy, you have my clan's support. As long as we can count on the same in return, of course. And he proceeds to get up. Billy's already standing by the time he does. Gentlemen, shall we? You might be muted, Bacon.
No, he's not speaking anything. He just nods and follow him.
Okay, then the Ventru walk out. Meanwhile, one of the not so bloodbound anymore security officers, or dominated, or whatever he was, very nervous, walks in and up to you, Epic, and tells you that apparently the previous owner was spotted in the building trying to break into storage.
What time did this happen?
About 10 minutes ago.
I'll check up on what's going on with Alan.
Okay, roll to pierce obfuscate.
Rolling to pierce obfuscate.
I think he wins.
You never know.
There's a chance.
So it's awareness. Yes, it is awareness. I remember.
-4, roll a 3.
If you get Saudi ones,
No.
not.
It's a perfect success.
Okay. You see him in a taxi, trying to fend off the uncomfortable questions of the taxi driver, who is clearly distraught and getting more and more nervous based on the evil coming off of the creature in the back seat.
Oh, well, that's a very unfortunate taxi driver. Wait, the taxi driver can see him, but he has obfuscate on.
We're gonna say that he is essentially getting... Yeah, that's me derping up. We're gonna say that he essentially intercepts a mortal that's about to step into a taxi from obfuscate and just hijacks the taxi with the help of dominate.
Okay, so there is no mortal. He is driving a taxi and tried to put obfuscate up. Is that what happened?
No. He has a mortal in the driver's seat and he's dominated him. You see,
okay.
we're gonna say that you essentially saw him ambush a taxi from one of the alleys near the building, from what you can tell.
Okay, well, I'm gonna read the taxi's mind.
It's a car. You can't read the car's mind.
Okay, you read the driver's
what I mean.
mind.
Yes, you know I meant the driver.
It's essentially internal screaming. Why can't I stop driving? What is happening? Oh my god, I'm gonna die!
Specifically, I'm looking for where he told him to drive.
Okay, the command was essentially, drive with the, drive eastwards, out of the city.
Driving east out of the city. So, he doesn't have the chair, it doesn't appear. He failed at that. Security guard. I could try and do something about it, but I think there's a lot going on at the moment, and he hasn't actually done anything too bad. I don't feel like just, smashing him for trying to take his chair. He has a blood hunt on him. Someone sees him, they'll do what they need with it, I suppose.
Okay. Do you keep track of him?
Well, I was doing some other things as well, so I'm going to have a pretty busy night.
So I
don't think I'll keep track of him at the moment.
So I'm assuming you check in on him on occasion.
I'll check in on him on occasion. I don't want, get away with fucking something to him. too important up, but
Okay. So, hey, excellent. In that case, that is happening there. Meanwhile, people are probably gathering at Elysium. Demi, I assume you're
Yes.
going to Elysium pretty early.
Yeah.
Did you already visit Elysium this night?
Has the night ended?
I know we shifted the night over, like, towards the end of the last session. Did you end up at Elysium?
I don't think we did because last time it was with the Tremere bitch. So if we change the night, I don't think we have.
Okay, so there's a whole...
we did. We changed
did.
the night.
Yeah, the
Okay,
Tremere
yeah, so it's
bitch was the first thing in the new night. So yes, you are very much at Elysium, and she is still talking to everyone she can find.
Hey, we have a shed in our Elysium now.
Yes, Demi, there seems to have been a shed that has appeared overnight in the Elysium, and no one knows where it came from, but everyone assumes it is safe.
How filled is Elysium? Is there people or is there not?
There's plenty of people discussing the recent happenings, in fact. Because, the prince just shifted, the prince position just got shifted around, for one thing.
Yeah,
The former prince was blood hunted. Wow, there's a lot of things going on.
yeah, I'm just gonna do the usual, socialize and try and see if I can, at the same time, get some opinions from my Gangrel, possibly if there's any Bruja, just the familiars. Just gonna see what they think of the situation.
Okay, I'm just trying to figure out the timeline, because you're at Elysium, then you rushed off to get Talon. I think an extra night would have shifted over, and this would be a new night.
Yep,
Unless you have
this is a new
something...
night.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, let me just stick down to the blood pool then.
Given that you're hunting at a relatively low difficulty, and you had plenty of time last night, you should be fine. Jackalor, I actually have a question. The first half of last night you had an interview, you were packing and considering things. Was there anything else you were gonna do that night? Were you even gonna poke your head out of the chantry? Things like that. You might be muted.
He might be gone. Oh, he did say be right back in chat. He didn't say back.
Okay, that's fine then. Okay, in that case, you are gathering up at the Elysium, since there's plenty left to discuss. Demi.
Yep.
As you are walking towards your usual gathering place, roll perception alertness.
Oh, shite. Haha. Don't worry, this is the ultimate round of dice. Difficulty 6?
Yes.
Got him. Maybe not.
So, first thing you smell is soot and faint whiffs of smoke and burnt out fire. And then you approach and you see the desolate, still wounded form of Maxim, who turns and looks at you with a shocked expression. The clearing has been torched. Your favorite tree is just a charcoal stump.
I get the fuck close to Maxim in a relatively fast speed. What the fuck happened? Why were things on fire?
I believe, Primogen, that someone is fucking with us.
That is visible, yes. Then I remember that there was a burnt down bar. soon as well.
And someone was asking for Waldo recently. Actually,
Right,
actually, Maxim is gonna hand you over a piece of paper. It just
Another one?
says, you know who I want to get in contact with. F.
I just crumpled the paper and yeah. Right. Did anybody get hurt, Maxim?
No, they did it during the day while everyone was sleeping elsewhere. No one got
Okay, good.
exposed.
Good. I'm gonna need a sheriff. This is goddamn. Did the sheriff already? Is the sheriff already here or?
I called him. He said he had something to clean up for the Toreadors first, and this seems to be done with. It to me, it looks like someone sending a message. In all honesty, especially with that
In
letter.
2 ways.
Yes, we've had a couple of messages recently. This isn't good.
Who the fuck is F?
I have no fucking idea.
Roll manipulation subterfuge.
Yeah, I know.
He knew exactly what was happening there.
Yeah, contested.
Fuck yes, it is.
Hell, I'm not good at lying.
Maxim's gonna spend a willpower on this.
Wow, rude.
That is quite rude.
Right, you have no idea whatsoever.
Fucking, I know that Chris voice, you piece of shit. I mean, I could give fucking speculations, but I'm gonna need a share for this because I might have a clue.
Didn't you just say you have no idea? I need to
just-
know. I'm the keeper of Elysium, for fuck's sake. Tell me.
Well,
It doesn't
we
look
had,
good on him.
well, we had werewolves sending marks, but they should be cleared with. We had hunters sending marks, and if the hunters, well, they know how much we just love fucking fire, they could be doing something again.
Why during the day, though?
Well, it could maybe be a 3-strike thing. I'm not exactly sure. It was something about dumping bodies at the riverbed. Or maybe somebody's continuing them. I have no idea. And they're just like, stop, it's going to be more intensive. First the message, now fire. Next time might be something worse.
I see. Why don't you go around and ask your animals?
And I'll see what I can get up.
You do have some security in the form of trained,
Yeah.
tamed animals,
I
so...
think let me check. I think it's 1 security.
Give me a perception animal Ken at 7.
Okay.
Okay. Apparently there were people arriving at the spot where people usually gather at night in essentially 10-15 minute pauses, and one of the cars had a woman in it who everyone seemed to defer to, and they seemed to be carrying a lot of containers and dumping something liquid on the ground.
Yeah. Yeah. Bitch. Right. There was something I had to tell you, and I think this is actually the perfect timing because you told me to mention this.
Yes.
I have to ask you, why did this bitch do this?
Okay, so, Demi, I'm gonna tell you and you're gonna love this. Remember when you told her you were gonna risk your life by playing politics? Back when she cared
Yes.
about you?
Yes.
She decided to build a secret army to back you up if you got in too deep. And then you went and betrayed her. And now she's mad!
God bless. I fucking knew it. I knew it was for me. Oh, I'm such a fucking cuck. I love it. Yeah. So how long is this animal thing gonna take me? Like, would the sheriff maybe come before that, or is there gonna take some time?
He's gonna come over pretty much as you're wrapping up with that.
Okay, perfect.
And at that point, the vampires will be awkwardly gathering in the burnt out Elysium. Because now there aren't any trees, so there's no real privacy. You could manage how many people are part of a conversation, just step into the shadows, etc. Now everyone's clearly visible under the full moon.
I just love how the concept of private rooms and private talks are just gone with the trees.
Yep. The demon burned down the Elysium during the day.
Yes, I know. Oh, that's Jacklor.
Yeah. Also, Jackalor, I told Demi why she was building the army. You may unmute yourself and tell me your best guess as to why.
Oh, that's a good one, Jacklor.
I have fucking no clue.
So remember when Demi wanted to play politics and she was like, no, you're gonna get fucked. She built a secret army to back him up if he got in too deep and couldn't get out.
Oh god.
And then he went and tried to kill her while she was busy maintaining the force to come bail him out when he got fucked.
This probably hurts
I wasn't
especially.
pissed.
This probably hurts especially for Jacklor. Somebody else is securing something for him, and then you betray them.
Yeah. That's like top bar right there.
You might have upset the demon a little bit with that, Demi.
Yes, I realized from the bars, and now the Elysium, and the attempt to kill the sheriff. Yes.
I figured it out really quick, I'm happy to say. In fact, it seemed so obvious to me, I didn't think it was a secret.
From what I recall, you were like, it can't be this. No way, when we talked about it. Because it was too obvious for
The reason I was saying
you.
that was because I was like, there's no way that would be the twist, though. There's no twist to it. That makes a lot of sense. Why would it be a secret? I was just like, wait, really? It's that? It just seemed really obvious to me. I didn't think it was like, that wasn't a twist to me. That was just, logical progression.
So, Jackalor, we decided that an extra night had ticked over, so what would have William been doing after finishing packing for Vienna?
He'd probably go out hunting.
Okay. Right. You got plenty of time, just assume you would have been able to fill up then. That's gonna make you roll for. Actually, you are at 3. Hungry is at 7 minus
4.
self-control.
That would be me healing the aggravated damage, so it would happen at the end of the night.
Okay. Then yeah, assume that you would have I'll let you fuel up by 10 without rolling and still be able to do something else that night, otherwise you can try and roll for it. How about that?
I'll roll for it.
Okay, do you remember your modifiers? You have Auspex and Dominate. Yeah, actually, you are at a fairly low thing, and it was like Manipulation Intimidation.
Yes.
Yeah, then it would be at 3. Honestly, fill up to full. If you're that good at it, it shouldn't matter.
Okay.
Not if you have so much time to just fill up. Before the night is over, you will get the feeling of someone trying to connect with your mind.
I'll allow them in.
Okay. You sense the presence. The female voice says, well, it appears the gangrel primogen is set on pretending to like you. Which means that he has now annoyed me by obliging me to make a full investigation, and you have a few more days. Enjoy the reprieve. On the off chance you can come up with something that would offset your sins in the meantime, without making this worse, please feel free to do so. If you do make it worse, it's more than just interrogations and re-educations that happen in Vienna. We also handle punishment. I will of course be staying elsewhere. I don't believe it's wise for me to stay in your chantry.
Not that I would actually be stupid enough to attack her in my fucking chantry. That's like one way to get myself assured to be death.
You know, you go down to Gen 6, you try to lock everyone out of the chantry, and you turtle up. It worked before with Azimuth, right?
That's not gonna work when they have a guy that can actually get. They have people that can actually break the wards.
I mean, what are the chances of them doing that successfully?
Pretty fucking likely.
Okay. So, does that give William any plans for how he can try and save his skin?
I mean, like go to Elysium. I really have no fucking clue right now.
Okay. You can go to Elysium in the morning before going to sleep, or first thing next night. Which would you prefer?
Oh, actually, now I remember what I was gonna do. I was gonna go to fucking the Princess Tower.
Okay. You go over to the Princess Tower. Is Vivian still there in the morning?
Yeah, she was trying to set everything up, make sure everything was going well. So.
Okay, then you
She
are
was there for the
currently
morning.
rearranging the brains for a couple of the security officers to try and get some kind of at least minimal level of control going as soon as possible.
Basically, more or less, yeah.
Okay. And one of your ghouls kind of just casually walks in and tells you that I know you don't need this, right? But there's this dude, William, outside. He says he wants to come in.
I'll make sure to get 2 of my ghouls in here before he's in, just to make sure there's some mode of safety because of his, precarious situation. But as long as I get them in there, he'll be invited in.
Okay. Well, Dougal would, I assume, already be there. So, yeah, with the one that's reporting, you would have to. William.
Yep, that's fine.
You are allowed to meet Vivian after, I assume, flying over.
Yes.
And looks like there's 2 ghouls there. Dougal is just casually holding the claymore in the crook of his arm, just, at the ready.
Hi, William. I was gonna see about getting in contact with you tomorrow. Try and figure out some of the stuff that went down.
Well, the mission to destroy the demon failed spectacularly.
Could you please describe how? Because I currently had to make negotiations with the werewolves involving certain should I say Methuselah or Elder in this case? Just
Elder. He would be considered an elder.
so not quite Methuselah. All right, a certain Elder was caught in their care. And when I looked up, it appeared that all of the people who were on the demon hunting were all in their havens, generally all right, except for the Elder.
Yeah, well, the demon, we were negotiating, and when it was clear that she wasn't going to back down, I tried to end negotiations with it, which was cut short by her commanding uh, her commanding me and
Essentially, she told you to go die in a fire.
yes, told
she
them to go
she
kill
proclaimed that
ourselves.
you both need to die. Make it happen.
Yeah.
So what negotiations happened? Did you find out anything?
Did I find out anything?
I mean,
Well,
you remember what you talked with her. You were like, you have to just give up everything. She was like, no, let's just divide this in a way that works for everyone. And I just want half done anyway.
Well, she was really upset they were half done, and well, I couldn't exactly give her him.
Okay, anything else?
You have a perfect memory thing, so you would recall that she
Yeah.
did say that she was willing to not expand her forces beyond their current size.
She was willing to not expand her forces beyond their current size.
Okay, and what exactly was the thing with Halfdan? Were we supposed to like give him over or what?
Yes, I believe so.
The way she said it was more along the lines
That
of,
was a straight lie, but
she essentially wanted everyone to stay the fuck out of it. It's like private matter between me and Halfdan. Don't get in the middle.
yeah, she didn't
Oh.
ask us to hand him over. She asked you to just not get in the way.
She wanted me to not get in the way between us, getting between the way of me and or her and Halfdan.
Holy crap,
Okay.
Jackalor, you could actually claim a boon over this, I think. Because just trying to talk everyone into letting her settle it privately with Halfdan would have fixed a lot of your problems and would have been a lot less bad for you.
But that's not how it went.
No.
Yes, he tried to protect Halfdan. Right?
So, how did you get in contact with the demon?
I organized a meeting through one of her thralls.
Do you know what thrall this was?
I can give her a perfect description.
Okay. You get a description. I assume you try to look in on the troll?
I'll give it an attempt real quick, but
She was strangely immune to dominate and obfuscate.
Okay, you try to focus in on the object being described and it takes you a while. Because apparently it doesn't entirely fit the description anymore, but eventually your clairvoyance is able to catch hold of something and you focus in on a body. On a morgue slab.
alright. There's one down. So yeah, she's killed that thrall. So, then what happened? How did everyone on the mission end up going to their havens?
Well, I managed to break the spell on me eventually.
Can
Yes,
break
I'm
demon
aware.
magic?
It was able to be resisted by my will.
I think that's a contested roll right there, gentlemen. Please make your rolls secretly to me for drama's sake.
Okay.
I mean, I know it's like I'm not gonna get away with it, but whatever. I can try.
I mean, Dougal's immortal, right? One blood boil and he's out. After that, it's a straight fight, right?
No, it's not. There's another ghoul there as well.
Well, yeah, but that one's a weak one, probably. Okay.
Okay. Describe to me exactly what happened as negotiations were falling apart. What caused her to do that, and what caused you to do your part?
I
Just
just
give
love
me
the idea
throw 'em a
of
play line.
negotiations. You give up everything you have, I give you nothing, and you'll be happy about it. That's how William negotiates.
Well, yeah, kind of. I'm a shitty negotiator, okay? You got
Uh-huh.
that?
I couldn't tell. Don't worry about it.
So yeah, kind of that way.
Wait, is that just your in-character description?
Describe in character, Jackalor.
Well, I asked her to give up her army. She refused, kind of as expected, and then I said, "We'll shake." Then I agreed to her not giving up anything and just staying out of her way. Except I was planning on using Blood Boil on her with the handshake, and that something tipped her off, and she and then she just called everyone to kill me and Thorbrand.
You and Thorbrand? Where's your third party member?
Who?
Abraham was supposed to help you, but Thorbrand was like, nah, fuck off, kid.
Oh yeah, Abraham. Thorbrand disagreed with that.
I don't actually remember Thorbrand disagreeing with that, but
He did.
He did. That part is
Yeah, he
actually
did.
true.
okay.
He was like, well, he was very dismissive towards the little guy who wanted to come along with the big boys.
Yeah, he was dismissive about it, but he didn't like say no, you can't come along or anything. It just seemed like you know,
It was-
Abraham got very dissuaded by how he got interacted with there.
It was clearly implied by Thorbrand's attitude. Let's put it this way.
That was true. Okay, well, he didn't report back to the sheriff or me after that.
Wait, really?
Nope. I was wondering what he was doing around his haven. Okay. Well, I'll talk to him tomorrow.
Okay.
It's a little bit too late today. So after that, she did something, made you both run off. What was it supposed to do?
What is he talking about?
The power, probably.
Yeah. What was the
the
power
power-
supposed to do?
Can I roll for that?
You already
What the-
have, but it felt like
Yeah.
something similar to dominate. One that
It's
Yeah.
something
could.
similar to dominate.
Not only that, you did clearly hear what the impulse and words were, so it would seem very close to a dominate thing.
The
Yeah.
only thing is that it seemed like elder levels of dominate in that it could force you to ignore your own sense of self-preservation, which is something I think neither of you are capable of.
Yeah. It was something akin to an incredibly powerful dominate command that that ignored your self-preservation.
Oh, so what did she tell you to do? And Thorbrand.
Those two need to die.
Huh, okay, so Thorbrand went off to die with the cairn?
Probably try to do the honorable thing, so to speak, and kill himself
Uh,
fighting against the werewolves.
What did you do?
Oh my fucking god, and the trap is sprung. He has no answer. Magnificent, epic, bravo, well done.
Hey, look, I have to get them trapped in their own words.
No, that was
Especially when they're trying to
perfect.
lie to me.
You did good.
I actively tried to kill myself, but managed to break through the command.
You actively tried to kill yourself. How did you do that?
Well, there was fire nearby, and there was all, but I managed to convince myself to go and uh, thinking here.
I'm just presuming this is semi in real time and he's just pausing and trying to think about it at the same time.
The pauses aren't quite as long, but yes. Let me just check I had the aspects rating correctly. I did. Jekyll, you feel a pressure on your mind.
Just a second. Yes.
As he's busy with that, I start sending thoughts of getting any nearby ghouls ready just in case something goes down.
To your goals?
Any ghouls I have nearby.
That would be those two. Dougal has nearly superhuman constitution, but the other two don't, so they take shifts. Dougal is pretty much always with you.
I was actually thinking of any of the people that I've recently dominated as well.
Those are not ghouls, they are mortals, and they are tied to specific instructions, and they don't necessarily know about supernatural.
Ah, okay, they're that way.
Yeah, they're
Well,
mortal
you them by
security
that.
forces.
In that case, if he's gonna be busy for a moment, I'll just say I'll be right back then.
Okay. Aurelia just asks into your mind. I was enjoying my morning. What are you doing?
Talking to the prince.
More like lying a lot, but but hey, you know what?
I have no words. I have no words. What the fuck are you thinking?
I had to go report about the demon hunt.
Isn't my problem. I'm just an investigator. All I have to do is give a report. It's not my fault if you cause more trouble. That's the retrieval team's job. That's what they're supposed to worry about. I will no doubt hear about this tomorrow. God help you, you stupid fuck, if you make me look bad. She cuts off the contact.
I'm gonna take a few minutes, gather up whatever dominated ghouls and security guards I got, and just basically have them at the ready if things go badly, to be ready if a little girl screams to go in and help it out.
I think you have dominated them to, among other things, treat you as if you were a fully adult CEO of this company.
That's fine, but my clue, but that's what I'm just saying will be the, code word, the screaming of the little girl.
Okay, excellent.
If I'm not screaming, I'm probably all right. So,
Okay, excellent.
so they'll just be at the ready in case. But, he seems to be hiding something, and I'm intending to get it out of him.
Perfect. Okay, then you come back in. He seems to be done with his conversation.
Okay, I'll sit back down, make sure the other ghouls are at the ready just in case. William, you appear to be trying to hide something very, very hard. What is it?
Nothing.
Let me rephrase that. William, tell me everything you are hiding. I use dominate.
Yeah, boy.
Oh, you're gonna be here well after the sun is up.
I can do that, and so can he.
I don't think he can. His humanity is shit.
The dominate will make him tell everything he's currently trying to hide. So,
Go ahead and make a roll, Epic.
alright. I don't know what his willpower is, so I'm hoping it's fairly low at this point, but I don't know. This one is the one that's manipulation subterfuge, isn't it?
It's manipulation leadership.
Oh,
There are
you think
three:
that's-
manipulation intimidation, manipulation leadership, and wit subterfuge.
Ah, okay. 5, 6, 7, 8. It looks pretty good. Presuming like difficulty 6. It's good at 7 too. Though not as good. Not so good at 8.
Okay. So, I need to read the wording of the second level, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna work. At least it will with that many successes.
It's only 4. It's not the end of the world, right?
It's just enough that you would be willing to do things that would put yourself in danger, but not straight up kill you.
Yeah.
Which is 3, by the way. It's 1 more than that. So
This goes directly against his nature. You're forcing him to reveal his sins and be entirely honest. So I would say that this counts as 2 successes, because the 1 cancels out one of the 8s.
okay, so you considered it 7. That's fine. That makes sense.
Yeah,
It's
because
still pretty damn good on making him do what I need him to do, though.
so you will tell her that someone helped you. You don't have to go necessarily into specifics, and you don't have to tell her that you off them right after. But you do have to share that someone used their powers to help you resist and help you last long enough until the command lost its force.
So, there was someone else. He helped me go until the command wore off.
Also, you think you're gonna be taking a trip to Vienna, and Vivian needs to know that apparently your own clan is getting ready to replace you.
And I'm about to go on a trip to Vienna.
Also, you stole books and funds from the clan.
One way.
Things that wouldn't make me kill you then.
Yeah, he essentially tells you the sins that won't get him killed by you. That don't present an immediate danger, but things like having murdered the Malkavian after he saved you, that's going a bit too far on the sharing front. That would be suicidal, from his point of view.
Okay. So, William, who helped you? Who do you
I don't know
owe
his
a
name.
life boon to?
Pick someone who you think will back up your story. The gargoyle.
The gargoyle.
I didn't know we had let him out yet.
We haven't.
Yes, that's a joke.
Well, technically he's in Halfdad's care, but I don't think he's actually been put over there yet.
Nope.
They took him with them, but he's stored somewhere safely, like buried in the park, 6 feet down somewhere.
Yeah, that probably is what happened.
Michelle Chambers.
Wow, he actually went for it.
Okay.
Somewhat logical thing.
Oh, Chambers. Oh, that's the Nazi.
Yeah,
Yes.
Nazi.
Not that Michelle. Ooh.
Well, it's almost time for you to sleep. Do you wish to sleep here or try and get back to your haven?
There will be enough time to get back safely if you wish.
I can get back safely.
Then I suppose for the
fine.
moment there's not much else to do. The only other thing we should probably talk about your upcoming punishment for what occurred between you and the ghouls that are now dead, and torturing a fellow vampire.
No, he wasn't tortured.
He was woken right after.
Maxim got tortured.
Yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, he was tortured. Fucking the gargoyle couldn't do a good enough job, apparently.
He was gonna kill him, he just wanted to do it properly.
Artistically.
Fucking idiot gargoyle.
So yes,
So,
I'm going to have to talk, but for that particular incident, I'm going to have to either make something very personally done to you, or I'm going to have to punish your clan for not being able to control their guardians.
Choose wisely.
But
but personal punishment.
Well, one of them I'm going to have to talk with the investigator to see if it would be appropriate for such a thing. Otherwise, I'll have to go very far on a different track. But
I'm sure she will.
Besides that, I may have to remove your capability of having ghouls and or other blood bonded creatures under your sway as Clan Tremere.
Jackalor, if you let that happen, you are gonna live for a very long time in Vienna.
No.
So the other is a personal one, of which I've personally went into it. The best thing to do would blood bond you.
The clan
Which is why I need
might
to talk to some of the
accept.
hired ones.
The clan might accept that, provided it's temporary, but they won't be very happy about that either. Ideally,
I'm,
they
um,
might accept a compromise where you're either directly bound to your higher up or bound to the clan as a whole, and leave you strict instructions not to pull shit like this again. That would be the
Maybe
clan's
a
preferred
Uh,
outcome.
Could
I'll
you?
need to make it pretty public. The last thing, if none of those are an option, is me punishing you personally in a way you definitely probably won't like.
What is it?
How much madness
Uh,
powers could she have, really?
I am a Malkavian.
Oh, go on.
Oh
I
my.
would have to show you the many cracks in your mirror. Let's put it that way. Those are currently the punishments I am considering that would be most likely well received with such a transgression.
I mean, they would the clan would probably accept a blood bond to the clan or to my direct superior.
Well, we'll have to discuss that with your direct superior in that case, because the biggest problem with that is, of course, it's not a particularly public win for the Gangrel, which in many ways is what this is about.
Yes, I'm aware.
See, Epic wants the war to go away that's brewing there. He doesn't give a fuck about the people involved. You think he's on humanity, and he feels like he's on humanity. But a lot of the nastier paths, like evil revelations, feel good to the surrounding people on the higher levels too. You can't know for sure. You can't.
I do want the war to end because it's horrible and generally causing much more strife than I want.
I mean, Maxim is down 3 background dots, and he's still healing. He has a right to be salty.
I agree. Why do you think I'm putting such dramatic fucking things on the board?
Could be something symbolic.
Those are
like
currently the options. I will see about getting in contact with whoever is your superior, or just the one.
I'll give him her not her address, her phone number to call, because I probably would have that.
You wish! You don't get to call her. You send a missive with a goal through the mirror, and she gets to it when she has the time. You think you're on the fast track as far as communications go? Bitch, think again!
Well, send a missive. See about getting them in contact with me, and we'll see if we can come to an arrangement of some kind.
I mean, there's always the option of letting Maxim have one blow every week or every month for free on William for a couple of years. He might accept that. If it's public.
I think the only way he would accept that if he was allowed to have a claw as well.
I mean, obviously, yes!
How many times can you toss the coin up in death? Let's see. I don't think she would think of that one, though.
I mean, it depends. Maxim might not hit that hard if he's aiming for something particularly painful.
Well, okay. I hope you now understand the board. And that I am totally going to get in contact with Michelle tomorrow.
Okay, then let's...
I'm pretty sure she'll back me up on it too.
Okay, so you are going over
totally.
to the Elysium tomorrow, right, Jack Lore?
What did you say?
You're going over to Elysium tomorrow.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, so let's skip back to the actual night in question, because this was happening in the past. And Epic, you may contact Michelle.
Well, I'm contacting a lot of people because I need to set quite a few things in motion. But yes, Michelle is one of them.
Okay.
This will be after I hunt, though, because I do need some blood.
Okay, if you're doing it in the tower, the base is 8, lowered by enough things to render it a 3.
Probably one of my better things. Stuff. So, in that case, I'll just render it to 12. It's charisma or manipulation, empathy or subterfuge, maybe even a mix of the two, you know.
I just roll for it. That is a total of 4, I think? Or
I
5?
think so. Oh no, that's 5. That should be 5.
3,
If I got it right.
then it's 5, then I think it's 4.
Oh, it's
Should be.
4.
Yeah, it's 4.
Okay. My bad. Okay, 4. There we go.
1 success gets you 1, and after that every 2 give you an extra 1.
Yes, that's right. I'm 1 short of the 5.
Okay. Meanwhile, William arrives in
Then-
Elysium as well.
While it's still on me, because I have a bit of a backlog to do real quick here.
Okay.
I'm calling up I'm getting the Ravnos, arranging a meeting for some point tonight. I'm then getting the Asimite, seeing about arranging a meeting as well.
Okay.
Get in contact with Michelle, get a meeting there as well.
So you want a meeting in person with Michelle?
Well, I'm trying to meet all of these people in person, which is why I'm asking them for a time to come to the tower some point tonight.
Yeah,
Your,
just write out a list of everyone you're pinging in the chat, and
That's
I'll
all
let
of
you
those.
know if... Just write out all the same so I see a list in front of me.
But now I have a slightly more roly kind of thing where I am checking on the new people, checking their auras. I will note that Vivian doesn't consider the first, Auspex aura roll to be completely important in a lot of ways. She's aware it's not exactly, reliable a lot of the time. So she just goes based off of more of a longer term kind of deal. How do they look over the course of like 3? Make
Hey.
sense?
You cut out there for a bit. Over the course of what?
Of about like 3 months. That's how she really considers it.
Okay.
So these aren't like super important, but it may color how she looks at them.
Okay,
The more important one is her sniffing them.
Okay. That one, we said you could do through clairvoyance, right? Because it was more
Correct.
based on
Because
aspects.
that's the primary. It is based on aspects.
You have the description for it open. If you have it somewhere or could copy it into text chat so I can see how it works, that would be great. Unless you have
Copying
it in...
it isn't so great. It's off the Council of Primogen, and that doesn't let you text. But I do have it open.
Okay.
Auspex 3, Demontation 2, Catch a Whiff of Madness.
Give me a page number then.
102. Top left.
Council of Primogen. God's fucking damn it, this goddamn external hard drive.
Okay. Yeah, Luca.
Okay. Give me the aura rolls first.
Okay. And I'll just consider it from left to right on the screen. So they'll be Bacon then Luca.
$102, right? There we go. Okay. And right, the first one was on Bacon, that's a 1. And the second one is on Luca. Well, neither of them are currently having black auras. You think you see a a small amount of instability in Constantine's aura? The kind that you might expect from a Malkavian. There might be something off with his brain. But overall, it's about what you might expect from Ventru. Practical, ambitious people who are eager for new opportunities.
Alright. Besides that, I then check for mental instabilities. In general. Can detect a blood bond as well with enough success.
Okay, go ahead.
Debbie's laughing, guessing my successes.
Okay, and the next one?
No, I did both of them.
Yeah, he did too.
Okay, then let's see. So, mental state. Again, about what you would expect, except that, yeah, Constantine is definitely fucked in the head. Apparently he is really afraid of something, and he on occasion sees things.
So he's afraid of something and he sees things. Okay.
He also hears voices and things like that.
Well, it doesn't have to be both visual and auditory hallucinations, but, well, his perceptions are borked. He's hearing or seeing or perceiving things that aren't there.
Alright then. There is one more roll I need to make real quick. Auspex 3 on the ashes mysteriously in that room that I was in.
Okay. Go ahead. There is enough left there to try. Give it to me at a 6. They cleaned up most of it, but it's relatively fresh and it is remains.
Alright.
Quick, what was the roll?
What?
I think it's
What was
perception awareness for this one.
Actually, I'm pretty sure it's empathy. So good check. Double check real quick. Let's see. Yep, perception empathy.
Okay. Then go right ahead.
Damn,
Okay. The scene kind of plays out from the point of view of Abraham. He walks in, he sass-mouths the Toreador. The Primogen pretty much warns him and sends the ghouls out. The tone, at least, if not the outright words, are very clear, like, don't fuck with us. Then he sass-mouths them again. Then he realizes he's gone too far and goes for his weapon. Doing that first, mind you. And then they gun him down as he tries to kill the Primogen.
Then he suffered final death. Poor
Yep.
guy. Okay. I'm gonna have to give the Toreador a call out after all the scenes are done up.
Okay.
You know, between when Luca and everyone leaves.
Alright, we'll get to that then. Right, William, you arrive at Elysium. You are able to... Do you have Auspex active going in?
Yes.
Then you definitely smell that there has been fire, possibly accelerated with gasoline here, at some point in the last 24 hours. A big one.
Well,
Um,
someone's not doing a good job of being a keeper.
Up ahead you see Havdan and Maxim and other vampires further in the clearing slowly starting to gather. God damn it, Demi. You just buff your blood to 7 strength and jump for it.
Okay, that's a fair point.
William, you may approach. The Gaggerl seem to be sad.
I am talking with the animals.
Ah yes, Havdan is
Please.
working through the trees, Maxim is talking to some of the people nearby.
Any Nosferatu around?
Roll a luck die. Let's say that Sergio is here. But that's about it. Or here a couple of Malkavians just speaking to each other. It's like, I wonder where Walda is. Have you seen her? No, I haven't seen her since she went to that meeting.
I'll go talk to Sergio.
Okay. Kind of taking Maxim's statement. And then you came here and it was burned in the evening, yes? Yes, it was burned. You can see it has been burned. You know it wasn't burned last night. For fuck's sake. Do something about this.
I'd rather wait a fair bit away from Maxim.
Maxim kind of turns on towards you and you see his face just get stony. You.
Bad time?
So, technically it's still Elysium.
Sergio.
Not even a hello. Really?
Would you be interested in giving a trivial boon for allowing me to contact Michelle Chambers?
Oh my god!
Maxim steps forward. I am sorry, we have had an incident. I do not believe low status people should be involved in such important matters.
Of course not.
Oof.
Let's start the fight here.
You are still here. The exit is that way.
I was gonna say I was gonna turn it around.
Uh-huh. Good. A sense of self-preservation.
He has it. Not sure he does, but you know what? Sometimes he surprises me.
Give me a perception alertness roll. Jackalor.
Sure.
Taking your aspects into account, we'll call it a 5.
Okay. Oh yeah, I have only 6 dice in this because I suck.
Well, yes, you do suck. But we all have our flaws. Something, trivial boon, laughter. You get the impression that trivial boon might not be enough to get Sergio's ass into high gear. Not with so much crap to do as a hound.
Yeah. Forgot he was a hound. Well, you know, that happened.
Yeah, if you had one of the fledglings here, you would have been way better off. Sergio has a job to do. How then? You catch a glimpse of William heading away from the Elysium, looking sad. You'd think he might have met Maxim or something.
Not looking sad.
Maxim is truly a man of glory. I continue talking to the animals.
Okay, When you catch up with Kurt, Vivian, he is pulling up to Elysium, we're gonna say.
No, I just tell him to when he has some time to come over.
When you
back
ping
to the
him,
tower.
when you converse
okay.
with him.
Okay.
Uh,
Then I'll just send him a real quick thing. So we probably need to talk about some things like what to do with the hounds and such. So if you have some time later, just stop by and we'll see about discussing things.
well, I am currently happy with my team as it is. I think it's very adequate, but there is a matter I wanted to raise. Apparently, the assassin managed to get himself killed. I have been to the scene. The Toreador called me. It's handled, but well, you should know.
Yeah, I saw and I saw how it went. So I'm trying to think of a suitable punishment for it, but that was certainly in a well-deserved kind of way. By the way, apparently Abraham did not assist in the demon hunting, so he, go along with that. Do you have any
Honestly,
ideas?
um, you spoke about punishment. Honestly, I think it's just gonna inflame things further, and it's unwarranted. You have to give people the right to self-defense and a certain leeway in punishing people who challenge them to this extent in their own home. That from what I understand, if they're being honest about what happened, it's kind of Abraham deserved exactly what he got.
Hmm. No, the biggest issue was actually them taking upon the right of destruction, particularly.
Honestly,
But
if someone walked into
definitely
my
willing.
domain and pulled the same kind of shit that this guy did, and then came back and rubbed it in my face, I would have done the exact same thing and fuck the consequences. I'm sorry, Vivian, but I think I'm gonna side with them on this one.
Well, it just would set a pretty bad precedence for no punishment whatsoever. But I think we can just let it go with a leeway of an investigation in the.
You have to take into account just how far Abraham pushed them, I think, in this case. He was here, what, 3 nights? And look at all the shit he did.
It was really impressive, and I really agree that no real punishment should come from it. I think we do need to make some kind of just, fairly public investigation about the matter. Just to go through the forms at least.
Oh, I'm going through the forms. I
Okay.
think I'm gonna have one of the people with Auspex poke in there, poke at the ashes, etc. I think he actually saved the actual remains as well.
Yep, they were there.
Yeah,
I'm aware of what happened. I just feel like a, fairly public investigation and then saying that they were just fine.
and you have to
Yeah.
keep in mind, we don't want people trying to hide things like this when they do happen, especially when they're justified.
Yes.
And he did come forward and call me pretty much immediately after it happened, so.
Yep, I agree. I just felt like we should at least do something fairly public, like an investigation or something. As long as you got that part handled, it's fine. It just needs to go through some, some kind of we are still in control of the situation, shit like that. Make sense?
I mean, if you want to bring it up in Council or in Elysium, that's certainly your right. I just think that actually really punishing them is kind of excessive in the situation.
Yes, agreed. There will be no real punishment from this action whatsoever. They were well within their rights.
When the bloodthirsty Bruja wants to keep someone out of jail.
Yep. I just want to make it, fairly clear that people can't do that and expect it to not go unquestioned. People will expect, we'll look into it. But if it comes out all right, they're in the clear.
Mm-hmm.
Besides that, I believe some of your hounds are still in barrels. Needed to go and handle that.
Oh, those aren't hounds, they're just randoms. I'll pull them out eventually. I don't have time to deal with that shit right now. I'm gonna heal up, and then in a week or so I'll unbox them.
Oh, okay. Oh, I thought they were hounds. My bad.
I was actually wondering, how would you feel about waking Wald up so that I could talk to her before I set her loose, let her stay with me for a week so we can discuss manners?
I feel that's fairly appropriate in total for the punishment for what she did.
That might also be a humanity roll for you, because it's pretty clear Kurt intends to torture her.
Oh, torture her.
Well,
Shit, that
probably
wasn't- I
throw
didn't
like,
quite get that.
nail her to a wall and throw knives at her, but it's not gonna be that intense as torture goes, but she's gonna have a very bad week.
Wasn't quite. I actually, for some reason, with how nice he's been, I was actually thinking he was just going to talk to her, go over matters.
Yeah,
I have no
no!
idea how that ended up happening.
She insulted his very nature with the stunt she pulled. The Toreador Primogen was nice and orderly about his vengeance. She was chaotic about it. Guess which one is on the shit list?
Let's see. Well, I think he's fairly in there, yet not too complete. I don't think I can advocate the torture thing, not without very, very good reason. Damn it.
Just do it.
Let's see. What
Live
would he
with
be
your
willing
humanity.
to
You
accept
have to
for?
show that the rules apply to everyone, including the Malkavians, if you want the other clans to trust you.
I already did that by letting him go in and torture her like that. Let's see. I think instead of letting her just stay around and, hurting her for a good week, how about instead, would you be willing to do something else instead? I don't feel right with having her get hurt for a full week.
Oh, that's okay. I'll ask someone else.
To what?
Wake her.
He has her. I would prefer it if something else happened, but that'll be my say on the matter. We do need her to be ready for a Primogen meeting, possibly fairly soon, at least in the week. But remember, she does need to show up.
I'll see what I can do.
I really want to make a roll to see how convincing I was on keeping them intact.
They're not gonna... Kurt isn't gonna disassemble Walda, but... this one would be at like a 9, especially since through the telepathic contact you can't employ your voice. Because she really pissed him off, and he wants to send a message.
The problem is it's not very public, so it's not much of a message.
I mean, her clearly traumatized state when he dumps her back into Elysium and makes a speech is gonna be the message. This is just setting the groundwork.
No breaking my Malkavian.
I mean, she might get an extra derangement, but that's just spice, right?
No, it's not. I have to reward those who actually try and help me, even if I don't approve of how they help me. But let's see. Charisma, leadership, or empathy in this case?
Leadership. Actually, no, make it empathy. Because leadership might be at a lower difficulty, but you're kind of going against what he would consider leadership and speaking in terms of being humane to people.
Yay. Okay, well, we'll see how it goes. I got two
Yeah.
10s. I got a success.
Okay, I'll consider it.
I like how Jack was so happy for a moment.
Okay, he proceeds to walk into Elysium. Are you still hanging around Elysium, Jackalor, waiting for the Nosferatu to show up, or have you gone to the Chantry?
Yeah, we probably have gone to Chantry.
Okay. So, you're done with the animals. You know what they saw. Oh look, Kurt's arriving.
Finally. I can start making memes now. Oh yeah, I'm gonna approach Kurt after the whole animal thing.
How then?
Normal view.
Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna.
this
do
is
that
gonna
view.
sound strange. I might need, like a liter or so of your blood.
What for?
I was gonna pour it down a Malkavian Primogen's throat and discuss with her her recent actions in, well, you know.
Right. Just a question: is the whole discussion after that going to involve more darts and nailing?
He tries to give you puppy eyes, it's not very convincing.
Kurt, please don't. Try to be. I've learned a little that I shouldn't do that. So please try not to as well. In other news, we need to talk about what happened. You can smell what happened around, right?
Listen, there's this new thing I saw on TV, you should watch it. And maybe you can learn how to make this not happen in the future. Only you can prevent forest fires, Halfdan.
That's sadly true, though. This is my fault. Right. Just come with me for a second. I'm gonna go with him as privately as possible, even though there's lacking trees. Just, further away if need be.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so I talk to the animals, and I take out the crumpled letter that I have, and just show it back to him. Well, whatever Mr. Regent did, it didn't work. This is the second time this has happened. She burned down my bar as well.
Wait. Who? Her?
Yes.
Her.
Give me 5 minutes.
Okay.
He goes back out to the cars, says something to the ghouls, or one of his ghouls. Ghoul takes his car and drives off. He comes back. Jackalor, about 10-15 minutes after that, one of your ghouls informs you that there's a messenger from the sheriff demanding you attend Elysium.
I just got back.
I guess I'll go back.
Okay. Meanwhile, Kurt is happily talking to you.
Yeah, I'm going to explain the situation, and since there was Valda involved, I'm going to say that even though the need of waking Valda may be needed, you might want to keep her on the lay low. This bitch wants revenge.
Oh, that's okay. I'm gonna keep her in a nice, safe, secret place that nobody else knows about.
Okay, then. But yeah, we have to deal with this, because obviously Mr. Regent over here didn't do his job as we told him. Kind of expected it. But yeah, we have to deal with this now.
Hey, Halfdan, you want to cheer up?
Sure.
You're gonna fucking love this. You remember that uppity cunt who pretended to be Ventru?
Abraham?
Yeah, so this genius walks into the Toreador Elysium armed with a shotgun, alone, sass-mouths the entire fucking clan and goes for his weapon. They were just finishing scraping him off the carpet when I arrived on the scene. It was fucking amazing.
At one point, I want to say he's ambitious, but you also need a little bit of brains for that ambition. That's. I'll take that as good news. Thank you.
I thought you'd enjoy that.
Well, yeah, that's the situation. By the way, you've probably met with that Tremere gal, right? That's been going around.
What Tremere gal?
Well, here's something to cheer you up as well. I hope, and I think you will. Well, it seems that somebody definitely higher than Mr. William has come over, has been talking, asking around, and they seem to want to dispose of William and replace him with a new regent.
Oh. But then I won't get to kill the fuck.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about this. Oh, by the way, there's also more Ventru arriving in town there at the Toreador place.
Ah, fuck. Did you meet them?
In passing. Smug bastards gave me the stink eye.
So usual Ventru. Well, hopefully no more car bombings happen. So well, I think they'll be okay, and that will be okay. Unless they do something stupid.
Speaking of that, what was your involvement in that, Halfdan?
Oh, well, they offered me a ride to the prince, and well, Valda, as you already know, it was like, here comes the fun, and boom, I hear outside.
Give me a charisma expression roll. Enchanting voice does apply.
Fun. So difficulty 4.
Yes.
Okay. Forceful for charisma, motives for empathy.
Motives for... It's not
Oh,
empty,
that's
it's expression.
not empathy.
Oh, expression? Oh, right, my bad. It's still the same dice. Expression, poetry now.
Okay. So it was all Walter's doing, like I suspected. Thought as much. Fucking bitch.
Don't.
Oh, no, I'm not doing a thing. No. People just need to understand the law of the land.
God, no, you don't fucking use that, Chris. That's my campaign. Kurt, please, look, manners and behavior, I get it. She has her own problems. I remember the first Primogen councils. Then this, yes, it's a step up, but don't go overboard. Push somebody crazy too hard, it could have the opposite effect.
Listen. There are very few problems, in my experience, that cannot be solved by surgically removing a kneecap with an axe.
Just that's all I'm asking.
Oh
Anyways.
look, it looks like the regent's here.
Well, time to find out where he fucked up, or I have a suspicion that he didn't even go.
Kurt is waving through the trees at you, Jackalor, beckoning for you to come over. Halfdan is waiting with him.
I go over to them.
Regent, what did you do? I love that he
the
has to
demon-
go. Could you be more specific?
You mean the demon hunt?
Go on.
We failed to catch and kill the demon.
Well, that would be obvious. How the fuck did that happen? Pray tell.
Well, we were doing the investigation. We arranged a meeting. Then, when I was going to spring the trap, she managed to notice the trap, and then commanded me and Torbrand to kill ourselves.
Kurt just slowly rotates to look Havdan in the eye.
Perception empathy roll. I want to see if he's telling the truth. I have a feel he says this, but I have a suspicion he didn't even go, so I want to see if that's actually true.
Roll manipulation subterfuge to see how readable you are right now, Draculaur.
Okay.
Yes, it's contested. It's 6.
Debbie doubts that William even went on a demon hunt.
Yeah.
I think you got this.
Secretly.
And no, you can roll openly.
Yeah, it's contested, anyways. I think. Wow.
The dice are not with me today.
He's not
Debbie
telling you everything. Apparently, he covered himself in more shame from a vampire point of view in that thing, and he's giving you a very sanitized version. Hard to tell exactly on what, or what parts he's lying about, but it did not go as neatly as he said.
Regent, if you can be just a little bit more specific, well, what kind of the trap was it? Where did it, how did she really notice it? Was it really, this, that, it seems like you give us the better story. This is important after all.
I had gotten her to start talking, and then we were going to end the discussions. I tried to blood boil her, but she somehow noticed me.
What were you
attempting to blood
talking
boil her.
about? Why were you talking about with her at all?
Yeah, you were supposed to go and kill her, not talk to her.
Well, I'm not the martial sort, so I wanted to make a neat trap for her to walk into.
How'd that go for you? Haven't seen Thorbrand
Not very
recently. Is he still around?
Yes, Torbrand is still around.
Any idea where he is?
He is currently at the werewolf cairn.
What the actual fuck?
How the fuck did that happen?
Both you and Kurt take one frenzy tick.
What?
Just from the sheer bullshit of that statement.
The problem is,
What's
he's
even
not.
more-
He's easily readable, so it sounds true as fuck, which is even worse.
Yeah. What's even worse in a way is that William is somehow here, and Thorbrand's over there. How did this happen?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, all of that combines to the frenzy tick. So, we have questions. Start answering. You can imagine most of them. You might be muted, Jackalor.
Oh yeah, sorry. Well, Thorbrand clearly failed to resist the mind control of the pseudo dominate of the elder level dominate of the. But Michelle Chambers managed to stop me from killing myself. Just
I love that statement. She told me to kill myself.
Give me another manipulation subterfuge roll.
Do we
for-
have to roll perception empathy again?
Yes, this is for him to keep up his story that Michelle saved him.
Okay.
I mean, there's a
How
reason I
about this?
didn't roll. I just
Empathy-
personally said, I don't believe you.
Yeah, no, he
Yeah.
won.
Jackalor is very convincing now.
Yeah. My empathy is motive, so there's like a 4 success difference unless he has specialties.
I am well reasoned.
This
This
was
does
not
not
well
say-
reasoned.
This does not sound fucking reasonable.
Oh yes, I was quite a wimp and she did have potence. She just arm wrestled me into a sewer and held me under the water until I calmed down and stopped trying to kill myself. Why was Michelle following you though?
I don't know.
By the way, Jack, I want to point out that you're trying to save yourself from a life boon by killing the person with the life boon and then owing that life boon to another Primogen.
To be fair, it is a slightly upwards trade. The Malkavians are never gonna be his friends. The Nosferatu might at least be motivated enough to keep him alive as a whole if the Primogen holds the boon, and they're gonna be slightly less insane. It's a known
It's a
quantity.
slight upwards trade. Ugh. We'll see how Michelle goes with things.
You know, I'm gonna ask her when I see her. Please go on.
Well, that was effectively the end of the story. I went back to my chantry. She went back to her haven, wherever that is, probably in the sewers. And after.
No. What did you actually talk with the demon about? I'm kind of curious about what she would have even been interested enough in to listen to you.
She wanted us to stay out of. She wanted us to stay out of her feud with Halfdan.
Slowly rotates back to Halfdan. You don't say. Go on. Still looking at Halfdan.
Yeah.
Apparently, Halfdan pissed her off quite royally. I, of course, couldn't agree on that because, well, it's Halfdan.
Rude.
What else was discussed? I assume you
Uh,
had a whole session with her, from the way you're speaking about it? Going into detail and all?
Not really. It was mainly me trying to talk her into disarming herself, but failing.
So she's gonna continue building up the army?
Apparently.
That's unfortunate.
So just one question though. So you and Thorbrand were there, and you were dominated, as you say, by her. You were told to kill yourself, and Thorbrand ended up at the werewolves. Is that correct?
Yes.
Wait, the werewolves managed to take down Thorbrand when he was set on dying in battle or something?
Yeah, apparently.
Well,
I only
fuck.
got these things.
I need to alter some of my plans. Okay, that's good to know.
I'm very glad that happened. It makes my wish to negotiate with them far more understandable to certain parties.
I mean, I could send in 12 ghouls in there armed with silver, but on second thought... But wait, the Nosferatu killed like 3 or 4 of them when they tried to go after them. And Thorbrand just went out with a damn squeak. No, I don't buy that. What the fuck are you talking about? This doesn't make any sense.
Talk to the prince. I only got the information from her.
Okay, this might sound weird. I'm gonna need about half a bucket of your blood.
Yay!
Not only my challenge. What do you need it for?
Experiments.
Oof. That hits.
Trivial boon, perhaps?
Wow.
Wow.
Really? After the story you just told us?
I don't think you're doing experiments. You're not the type.
If the experiment I have in mind works, I'll give you your trivial boon, but only if it works. Through clenched
Yes,
teeth.
I will agree to that. It was the most generous offer.
I will cut you, bitch. He's gonna start rolling for self-control. That was a step too far.
Yay! The Bruja.
Come on, come on, come
He's
on.
succeeding. He's good. He can move if he wants.
Yes.
Takes half a step forward. You see the tree splintering under his fist where he's grabbed it. Really, just... I'm sure we'll have more questions for you, and apparently I have an investigator to talk to about you. I'll see you later. Say in an hour or two, okay? I'll bring
Yes.
the item to the chantry.
Of course.
Right. You should get out of here, out of my sight, right now.
I'm getting out of there right now.
Again.
He's very good at pissing people off.
In fear of Kurt going crazy, I'm going to stay silent.
He slowly rotates back to you. So what did you do to piss her off?
Well, out of character, didn't we talk about this though?
You did, but
You did.
this seems excessive to him given the response from her.
Everything we told you, as I said, she's crazy.
Roll manipulation subterfuge.
She is fucking crazy.
I'm
What
not
do you mean?
I'm not sure that's the entire story. Tell me the rest.
Wait, I'm trying to remember out of character. Vivian, we told Kurt that I was with her.
Yes, but
doing
you
that.
at best you made it sound like you were just fuck buddies, not that you had a serious committed relationship where you actually give a fuck about each other. It just made it sound like you were stupid and horny.
I want to say for my case, I really was.
We also managed to make it seem like this was not something you've done for a very long time.
Oh, did we?
We did. We'd never specified exactly how long you guys have been doing.
Yeah,
it,
not to
which
Kurt.
is why
It's
it
come
sounds more
out.
like a fuck buddy situation.
It's come out to a few people. William in particular, I think, got it from Florin herself, but Kurt doesn't necessarily know just how long it's gone on. Especially as far as you know.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I'm just trying to recall all the things. Yeah, okay. look, as I said before, I was horny, was stupid, was with her, but I don't know what goes into their minds, but she's obviously either can't find somebody who can satisfy her, or she's just absolutely fucking crazy. She literally burnt down, as I said, one of my bars now after this, then Delicium, then over there, whatever she's doing.
Wait, over there,
That over
what?
I do remember her fucking one thing other else. Come on, brain, fucking work.
You don't know about the stuff in the newspapers yet. Because that is in the process of being cleaned up. The people who have media in particular are gonna have the most info on that.
Oh, right. That's the thing that's probably confusing me then. Because I know that she fucking burned shit down.
Yeah, that she did, definitely.
Yeah. Okay, then my bad. I was actually confused because I thought I knew it. To be fair though, I do know this side. Riverside. Yeah. Yeah, she's doing, so she burned down the bar, she burned down the Elysium, she's building stuff up, and you remember that last message that we got from the fucking Marines, right? Riverside, bodies, whatnot. I looked at stuff. That place is down by the Riverside. And whatever she's doing, she might be also involved in that. She has problems.
Except that the people I know on the street level haven't been reporting any bodies in the general area. I would have heard about it.
My suspicion on that then goes away. Then where did it come from? My bad, I'm going off topic. But where I'm going, she's fucking crazy.
There have been a few bodies, from what I hear from the police, that have been showing up on the other side of the river near the naval base.
Huh.
So, unless she's migrated, that's something else.
She could have. If I mean, let's take something for okay. So she's building up an army. There's nearby Marine base. Do you think she might have gone for some hunters, possibly? They are a force.
In
And as
what,
you can
all
see-
of 24 hours? A
No,
week
no,
ago,
no.
she was focusing all of her efforts, or so it seems, on the criminals, and now she suddenly has those fucks too? I mean, maybe, but I'm not so sure.
It might be an exaggeration, but we also have to take into effect what kind of power she has. I mean, as we just heard, she fucked Thorbrand and William in the head enough for them to go kill themselves. How much her power can go spring on? No idea. Werewolves are nearby, but I don't think they would be killing people like that. And if the hunters send us the, well, it's not them either. It has to be somebody, obviously. So it's either her doing something and just spreading out whatever she's doing. It's either werewolves getting uppity or trying something, or there may be another party involved.
At this point, Bobby comes through the trees, then homes in on you. Oh,
God,
hey, Halfdan, Kurt, do either of you know where Waldo is by any chance?
I'm waiting to see if the sheriff says something.
He just eyes you,
God damn it.
slowly turns back to Bobby. Yeah, I have her. Your bitch of a primogen needs to learn that blowing up other primogen isn't okay. Bobby just answers it. Well, could you give her back? I'm sure she's sorry by now. Kurt just shakes his head. Nope. Bobby goes, please? Let me roll manipulation empathy at 9 for the please. he attempts to apparently emotionally manipulate the sheriff. He turns back to Havdan. You know, I really don't want to owe a boon to the regent. Maybe I should just let her go.
That's fine. I already told you. Yeah. It's up to you.
Okay, that's great. Can I come with you and pick her up? I know your time is valuable and all that. Of you to make perception empathy rolls on Bobby.
Okay.
Kurt just goes, yeah, sure, no problem.
Do I suspect anything?
You can't tell. You're not entirely sure everything's kosher, but he's a Malkavian. He's not acting much weirder than usual.
Yeah, it is Bobby after all. Bobby has troubles on his own.
Okay. Well,
He could just be nice.
I guess I'll just give her back. If you see Vivian, just tell her I would like her to devise some sort of fitting punishment for this kind of bullshit from her, and then because this shit can't go on. You can't have shit like this, not under circumstances like that. And he goes off with Bobby.
Don't I have to go with her as well? To get blood or something? Like if he doesn't want to give the regent the boon for the blood.
Kurt doesn't give a fuck. He's not gonna pay the boon, and Bobby didn't ask. So he might have something else in mind. He might ask Vivian. He might just store her until she wakes. For now, it seems he's more concerned with just getting her into his hands, away from the bad person.
I mean, unless Kurt tells me to, like, I'm gonna stay here and release him and try to fix the situation. Unless Kurt says no to come with him to wake her up or something.
Yeah, Kurt doesn't ask you to come with him. He doesn't give a fuck.
Okay. Epic. I know you love chips just as much as I do.
We all do at this
Popcorn.
point.
Actually, that's a reminder. I'm gonna get myself some Doritos.
Okay, and we are gonna switch back to the meeting in the corridor Elysium, where the Ventru are trying to establish a pecking order among themselves. Andy has
Bacon, did you
casually...
get back?
Ah yes, that is a good question. He did go off a while ago. I would have hoped he would be back since it's been like an hour since then, but maybe not.
I'm here.
Yeah, he's here, but I don't think Bacon is.
Oh, I'm here.
Okay, good.
There you are. Okay, we're good then.
Okay, so you sit down. Andy, just by reflex, going in first, takes the most prominent position that occurs to him. And yeah, you arrange yourselves. So
I'd like to sit in a position that gives me the largest view of everyone in the room, or the best view of everyone in the room.
there are like two sofas with a table in the opposite corner of the room, so you can sort of, face each other or look away from each other relatively easily. It's like a comfort corner arranged in there. It's a Toreador place. It's clearly designed less for actual legitimate talks and more for just sitting on your ass being fancy, trying to enjoy the pleasures of one life. A room perhaps more suited, let's say, to dragging one of the vessels in here than having a discussion about politics.
Alright.
So, gentlemen, ideally, we should leave this room after we have an idea as to who will represent our clan for the time being.
Well, I think that we probably have two major options. Or we appoint me as the representative, as I have more status, or you, Andy, that have more respect within the members of the city.
I have served as seneschal for some 3 and change years here, and I did not do entirely badly given how young I am by some standards.
Are you suggesting that my being so new takes me off the table as an option? I'd say that directly to Bacon.
Well, we could use two arguments to choose who represent us, the oldest and more features, or the more accurate to the current situation.
Given that, personally, I would say that it is probably more appropriate that the elder of us all is the one who represents us.
I do have a personal relationship with the Gangrel Primogen and many of the people on that side, which could be of use if you are interested in us forging relationships with the more powerful clans in the city, as opposed to, well, to them you would be just some random venture. They know me personally.
A lot to consider. Any of the local clans have any resentment against you, Andy?
The previous Primogen of our clan didn't like me towards the end, I believe, because there were tensions rising between the prince and her, and I tended to take my sire's side, as is proper.
Oh, then, if that was apparent, it could help us to establish that we're going to act different from the former ventures.
Personally speaking, I am okay with someone else taking the lead if we all decide that that is the better course. But I believe I am capable of leading the clan and helping us rebuild.
I would be a for the position, but I'm afraid that I'm not currently aware enough of the members of the city and their opinions to say that I could represent us.
He kind of looks at Billy. Billy just shrugs. Billy doesn't really seem to give that much of a fuck as long as it's a competent venture that takes charge. Turns to you, Luca.
A quick question, out of character. When he walked back in after leaving initially, when he was going to go board his flight, he said if I remember correctly, he said he planned to stay for a few more days, correct? He didn't mention any permanency.
It was with an implication if along the lines of, indefinite stay.
Right.
It don't imply that if he didn't have anything tying him down either in terms of plans or resource, he might still leave if this was going badly, but he is essentially going to stay as long as there's a reason for him to stay. And him being in charge would be a very serious reason for him to stay.
I'm gonna look him straight in the eyes and say, being as that you seem to be a little apathetic as to the state of things in the city, and your rather speedy turnaround from leaving to staying, perhaps it wouldn't be best for you to immediately elevate to a status of representing the Ventru, and being as that the elder here doesn't seem all too presently interested in the position, perhaps it might fall to me. I have proven myself in the past as a more than capable member of this clan, and seeing as that I don't exactly have a very large number of enemies, and have a few positive relations with some of the clans, that I might rise to the position myself.
Alright, here's the thing. The gangrel in particular respect go-getters of a different kind. I was trapped with the Zimitsi for 3 months, and I managed to come out of the other side more or less intact. I have fought them, I know the face of the enemy, and the people on both sides of this rather vague divide have at least some measure of respect for me, and they understand that I can be worked with. You would be an unknown. And given that our positions in the pecking order are not that different, I might be a better fit. Now, you can say that I'm apathetic. That was when I thought this fight couldn't be won. But apparently the prince is okay with us gathering together and rebuilding the clan. In fact, she told me personally that she's interested in our clan being strong, probably in the hopes of us being a base of support for her eventually. She also happens to know me, and I'm pretty sure we can find common ground with her. You would be getting to know her from the ground up, as it were, and the problem with that is that under those circumstances, any misstep could resonate far further, whereas with me she would be able to put it into context, because she knows me.
Was the point that I was trying to get at. I believe that maybe after a few years to us to establish ourselves on the city, we may be able to review if your leadership is the most effective, but on the current emergency state, it may be that the one that they know and somewhat trust is more effective than two other random ventures that they know nothing about.
We are just days away from our previous primogen trying to assassinate the now prince.
Constantine would fall silent for a few seconds, and he would kind of seem a little distracted before he looked back up and re-met the gaze of the neonate. And he would kind of sigh, and with a bit of apparent disappointment in his voice, he would say, I can see the logic in that, and for the time being, if it is truly the position that you desire, I will support you representing the clan in New Orleans.
All
I
right
think that was
then.
the first time that they actually came out and said that their primogen tried to kill the prince.
I mean, it was implied before then, but Andy felt that he needed to make sure that the fuckers couldn't pretend that they weren't picking up what he was putting down. Conveniently leaving out his own part, of course, in the happenings.
Yep.
I love you.
Well then, I think, well, the prince has already seen you, but I think it might be good to go and introduce ourselves to the gangrel. So that, well, if they think you've been trying to sneak in, I have the distinct feeling it will go the worse. It's better to face them down directly. They tend to respect that kind of thing more than scheming.
Alright.
Seems like a good idea. And we can also take the opportunity and already do our first social gathering at the Elysium.
I would like to point out that they still haven't really actually presented themselves to the prince.
Yes, that is true. And he's taking you having seen them as good enough for now. Might run into her at Elysium. If not, can always go after.
Okay. Just making sure that is aware. So
As far as you checking in on everyone seems to be fine. Bobby is just sitting silently in the back seat of a car next to Kurt. Kurt's just looking out of the window, clearly deep in thought.
I just ask Bobby what's going on, make sure he's not about to be killed or something by Kurt. I don't think that's likely, but well, he was having some issues with Valda earlier, so maybe?
Oh, Vivian, everything's fine. Kurt's just gonna let me pick up Walda.
Oh, really? Okay, well, why don't you bring her back over towards the tower and we'll see about waking her up.
Yeah, that sounds good. Give me a perception empathy roll.
Motherfucker, I have a very good suspicion of what the fuck.
Me too.
Yeah.
I really don't know if the Auspex passively applies through the power. I'll presume 6, and I'll leave it up to you on whether or not it works that way.
Okay, sure. If vampires could sweat, Bobby would be drenched right now. Kurt must not have noticed, but he's clearly acting against his will here.
Against his... well...
I knew!
That's interesting. I sent a thought to Kurt. Kurt, it appears that your passenger there is under some form of control. I suspect that the demon is possibly doing it. It could be someone else though. Why don't you just drive back to somewhere safe at the moment and see if you can just contain him while figure out what's going on.
Kurt just kind of rotates over, locks eyes with Bobby. You see Bobby realizing that something is wrong. Kurt just casually asks Bobby, what the fuck is going on?
Oh no, he was already about to frenzy.
It's a new scene, it's fine.
Ah.
Bobby just responds with, Vivian? I was told to give you her description if I got caught so you could talk.
I'm around, Bobby.
Also, she says that you can just use her name to call her, even if she changes her face just to talk. Kurt rolls for self-control. Because I think this would be an instant check, not just a take, because apparently he was about to hand over his prize to the demon, and that is not okay.
This demon bitch.
Oh no!
Oh my Jesus Christ! Bobby, no!
Kurt leaps for Bobby.
Bobby!
Goodbye, Bobby.
You just see Kurt go, motherfucker, and attack.
We'll see if he final deaths or if he ends up torpid. Either way.
Well, this
And I
is
don't even
awkward.
put the description. Oh well.
You do know that you can use her name to contact her, so that's always an
I
option.
knew that the whole time.
Now you know that she's trying to get in contact with you.
See, that's the difference.
It really sucks when you know like only 3 vampires and none of them will cooperate. Bobby.
Jesus Christ.
Bobby,
The one-
you are fucked.
It's fine, he
Nice
has a
shot.
lot of fortitude. He picked it up as out of clan.
I should have gone with them. Oh my god.
Yeah, you just got Bobby killed.
Maybe. We'll
Yeah,
see.
I didn't know.
Bobby's gonna take full defensive for this round.
Get the fuck out of the car!
This is the dodge for Bobby.
No dodging.
Unless he botches the attack.
Let's see how much blood Kurt has. Okay, not too much. That's good.
That is good. It increases survival rate.
Not, or maybe he's going to train him and
I don't-
vaporize him.
I think the beast is in... I mean, he's not hungry. He might go for it if he was hungry. But he's just gonna activate 3 points of celerity because just fuck this guy. Really.
Remember, Bobby has a point of fortitude. We need to know how much blood he has.
We do. I think he has more blood than he has turns to live.
Possibly. But, you know, a blood point in fortitude. It helps.
Is he gonna buff stamina, maybe?
It isn't gonna help against fangs. So,
Oh, he's attacking with... Oh.
Kurt manages to miss the first attack, but if his goal is to get fangs in neck, he can just keep using the extra actions for extra attempts to grapple. Much like we have ruled when trying to take control of grapple, so you can attack with no penalty, you can just, if you miss the first one, keep trying. So that hits.
Bobby tries to dodge. He's on full defensive.
I already rolled for his first dodge, so
That's the
this
first
one. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first one.
Okay, this
Second one
fails.
doesn't do anything. He's now grappled.
Wasn't it 3 dice?
Yes,
It
but
was,
this is the
but
second
Full
dodge.
defense decreases by 1 every time.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
So Kurt has 2 more actions. And let's roll the second attack right away. Still has 1 dice. Okay. So 3 potence, 3 strength plus 1 from fangs. That's 7 on the first one and 9 on the second one. Bobby takes 2 ag. Because Bobby would have, you know,
Activated fortitude.
Yeah.
somehow I don't see this ending particularly well.
1.
The ghoul in the front seat goes, Jesus fuck! And swerves.
We don't... Some of them do. A lot of them don't.
I think, yeah, he's NPC'd, and we don't give NPCs specialties unless they really earn them. Bobby is 11 gen. Bobby is gonna activate Fortitude and he's gonna try and take control of the grapple to try and break free. I don't like his chances. Kurt is just gonna go back and put everything into a single attack this time, activating Potence. So, that is 7 dice, because celerity things help to hit. So that is 3 more ag. Bobby is crippled.
Bobby spends willpower. You don't want to be crippled.
Yeah, I think so. For this, he would kind of have to. But it's okay. Actually, no, I take down Kurt's willpower. That's a mistake. Down Bobby's instead. Bobby has 2 dice in Strength Brawl.
He got this.
Kurt has
No, he
Potence
straight up can't do
activated.
Yeah, you can't do it.
You see the panic in Bobby's eyes as he is like trying to get out. No!
Sadly, for all my powers of observation, I can't actually affect what's going on at the moment. I can only do one thing. I can try and distract the beast.
Okay, how do you wish to do that?
The only way I can think.
Screaming into its mind.
Yeah, scream in its mind, threat behind me!
Roll manipulation subterfuge. I actually look up the rules for Auspex faking someone else's thoughts. Because
I already know it, generally.
Just look up the specifics because the difficulties and stuff varied.
The difficulty of pretending to be somebody else was... Nope. I'm looking for... Where the heck is the... Really? Fuck you. Why don't you just say
Difficulty
system
equal to target's perception awareness. You know how we're gonna do it? We're just gonna roll it against their perception awareness. So it's gonna be an opposed roll.
Oh well.
You have like
don't
11
want
dice
to.
in that.
I know.
Kurt has like 2.
Perception awareness. No, I don't have 11 dice. My awareness is
Perception
very low.
subterfuge. Because he's using awareness to resist, to try and see through the lie.
Oh, okay. Manipulation subterfuge. Yep.
Yes.
11. So, 11. Both got 1.
Okay.
Goes to defender. Who's defender?
He is, because you are trying to fuck over his head.
Okay, so here's a voice saying there's a threat behind him.
Okay.
Not him.
What would the beast do here? He knows that that's not his voice. It knows in a vague sense that you can talk in people's heads even from a distance. I think it sees you as a threat, and it knows that you are team playing with... I think he would switch after he renders Bobby harmless.
Ah.
So he's gonna torpor him and then he's gonna look for other threats nearby.
Maybe torpor him. We'll see how it goes.
Okay. Bobby. Bobby doesn't want to die. Bobby spends a point of fortitude, a point of willpower on wound penalties, and is gonna try and break free. Kurt isn't gonna use his blood for potence because the Malk is nearly dead and he can finish it easily, and there's another threat nearby apparently. Okay. So that would be 8 dice.
Yes.
Bruja can still spend actions once they're in, or spend willpower to take actions normally or resist for a second once they're in frenzy. They just can't prevent it, right? With willpower.
I'm pretty sure that was their thing. They can't prevent it, but we can double check real quick.
Yes, double check because this determines if Bobby's insta death or if he. Actually, let me read up on how. Like he's spending 1 on that. He would be 2 past.
Yes.
In cap, so
yes,
he would be
may
dead.
spend a point of willpower to end a frenzy that has already begun.
Well, not end it as so much as resist it for a second. So he's gonna
Yes,
use
that's
it
how
to
we're gonna
essentially
do it.
switch targets. The driver has pulled to a stop and is looking back at him. He meets the beast's eyes.
The driver realizes that putting the pedal to the metal does not help.
Oh no, the driver has stopped. He's trying to get the door open and get out when Kurt reaches forward and grabs him and sinks his fangs into his neck. I think
Well, it wasn't Bob.
given that the immediate threat is gone, I'm gonna give him a chance to try and snap out of it. I'm gonna say that he managed to chomp 3 blood points off the ghoul before he got a second, and then he recovers. Yeah. Essentially, we're gonna say that he torped Bobby effectively, but he spent the willpower to switch and pull back the attack just a bit.
Yep.
He's
down
now
one
just
driver, though.
on the backseat. The driver is pale, breathing, but sort of lying over the steering wheel. Kurt in the back, breathing heavily, blood running down his face. Bobby torped next to him, and he just starts going, fuck. How did that bitch get to him?
I don't know about that. Apparently, she wants to see about doing a meeting. I suppose I'll see about using the name. Want to be there for it?
You know her, like, actual legit demon? You know her name?
I did manage to rip that out of Halfdan's mind.
He just sort of leans forward, pats the ghoul on the shoulder. Yeah, I'm real sorry about that, but why don't you lie down in the back? I'm gonna drive us back to Elysium. I need to talk to Halfdan.
Oh, right.
Before you do that, could you please go grab Valda? She might be useful for this.
Fuck, fine. Okay, I'll go grab her. He continues on their way. So, Demi, how does it feel to piss off a demon and have her try to burn down your world?
You know what? If I ever have an ex in my real life, I'm prepared.
Don't worry, Demi, you're never going to have one.
Wow, fuck you.
You know, I love that Demi's mind, for all his played up self-confidence, went to, you're gonna be forever alone, not the, I'm gonna get a girlfriend and keep her forever.
Shut up.
Why don't we take like a midway break here and we can continue with like the Ventru showing up in Elysium like a posse. Oh, Christ.